I'm continuing my discussion of Trump's big announcement, but I also want in this segment to broaden the discussion to look at a sort of a post-mortem of what happened in the recent midterms. Now, a couple of details with regard to Trump. The first thing is I saw a very interesting statement by Ivanka Trump, basically saying, I'm stepping away from politics. Now, she didn't clearly say that she was doing this along with her husband, Jared Kushner. She says, quote, I'm choosing to prioritize my young children and the private life we are creating. And so I think what she's trying to say is that I'm not going to be appearing on campaign rallies with my dad. And I'm also going to stay away, if Trump is reelected, from the Trump administration. And to the degree that she means herself and her husband, Jared Kushner, I think this is a good thing for them, but it's also a very good thing for Trump. It's a good thing for Trump because it's always complicated when you have a close family that are anchored in a position of great authority and power and trust in the White House. Everybody else doesn't know how to navigate with regard to them. Of course, they are trusted, but on the other hand, they're not necessarily experienced. Now, Jared Kushner in some ways did bring some experience. He was very well connected in the Middle East, and his impact, I think, in some ways was positive because he helped to broker important deals, the move of the embassy to Jerusalem, the Abraham Accords, where Arab countries made a pact with Israel that would have seemed unimaginable. In fact, people like John Kerry said it's ridiculous. You can't get this kind of agreement without the Palestinians, and Trump sort of made it look easy. So I'm not implying that Jared Kushner didn't do anything, but I also think that what happens very often for a business guy like Kushner is he tends to look at the White House as a way of kind of making connections and setting up business deals with the Saudis and so on. And in some ways, this is troublingly reminiscent of some of the Hunter Biden operations. Now, I'm not equating Jared Kushner with Hunter Biden, but I am saying that leveraging a family name or leveraging your relationship with the president to make business or financial deals, this is unseemly and should not be occurring. We don't even want to create any appearance of impropriety. So to my view of thinking, this is all to the good. Another thing that I'd like to see happen is for Elon Musk to restore Trump's Twitter account. Why? Because, hey, the guy's running for president. If you have a important candidate running for the Republican nomination, what is sort of the rationale for saying this guy can't express himself on Twitter? Now, Trump has said, I'm not coming back to Twitter. He said, I'm going to stay on Truth Social. That's Trump's decision. But what I'm saying is that I think that in the name of, if Elon Musk does want Twitter to be a forum for free and open debate, then it doesn't make sense to exclude a major candidate from that kind of participation. So in my view, that should happen, and really should happen now. Now, there's a very interesting article by J.D. Vance in the American Conservative, of all places, and it's talking about the midterms. I want to discuss this article in this segment and the next one, but I'm also going to go beyond the article. I want to argue that there are two factors that have played a big role in the midterms that we're not focusing on enough. J.D. Vance focuses on one of them, and I want to focus also on the other. The two factors are, number one, redistricting, and number two, money. J.D. Vance focuses on the money factor, but let me talk briefly about redistricting, because here you have the Republicans in the midterms getting 5 million more votes than the Democrats. And normally, if you or I could distribute those votes, we could cause 15 or 20 House races to fall our way and probably 3 or 4 Senate races. So we would comfortably take the Senate. We'd have a very nice margin in the House. So obviously the votes aren't in the right places or aren't falling. The rain isn't falling, you can almost say, where the plants are. And why is that? Well, the answer quite simply is redistricting. The Democrats are drawing districts in such a way, particularly in a lot of the swing states, places like New Mexico and Nevada. They draw the district in such a way that makes it really difficult for the Republican to win. Now, this is not to say Republicans don't also do redistricting. Gerrymandering is kind of a two-way street. I guess what I'm saying is the Democrats might be just better practitioners of the art. And it comes back to the idea that the Democrats in general are better at the mechanics of elections than Republicans are. Now, let me turn to this J.D. Vance article, which is interestingly titled, "Don't Blame Trump." And I think what Vance is really saying is that there's I'm just quoting him, a major structural advantage for the Democrats, namely money. Vance goes on to say that you need money really for two reasons. One is advertising, which is to say for candidates, for parties to get the message out. And the second is turnout. You need a get out the vote operation. And that costs money. So money is, in fact, the kind of lubricating fuel of politics. And as Vance goes on to argue, the Dems have a whole lot more of it than we do.